It is my honor and privilege to introduce Colonel Mike Caldwell.
Yes.
God bless you all.
Good evening. How you doing?
Yo.
Good.
I know it is a very warm September evening, but I need you to go somewhere else for a few minutes and think about a perfect fall morning. You wake up, the skies are clear, pale blue, a cool breeze is blowing through the trees, the birds are singing. Inside, you smell the coffee brewing. You've got a little Toby Keith music playing.
Woo-hoo!
You hear the kids rustling about, getting ready for school, and they're not fighting. It's the perfect fall morning. And then in an instant, it's shattered. But a day, even in its tragedy, its sorrow, its horror, it unites a nation in the most unexpected of ways. In the relatively short 249-year history of our nation, few days are etched in our collective memory. September 11, 2001 is one of those days. It is hard for me to believe that an entire generation of young Americans has already come of age since 9/11. They can watch the documentaries, they can see the news, they can hear our stories, but they can't truly understand the weight of that day. It's fear, it's uncertainty, it's heroism. Many of you here experienced 9/11. So remember where you were when you heard the news, what you were doing when you heard the news, who you had to call to see if they were okay. And many of you probably were stuck in traffic jams trying to pick your kids up from school. For those of us who were there, New York City, Washington, D.C., Somerset County, Pennsylvania, the memories of that day will never fade. I know mine won't, because on a perfect morning, I was there when the plane hit the Pentagon. 24 years later, my question tonight is, who are the heroes of 9/11? At 8:46 a.m. in New York City, United Airlines Flight 11, flying at a speed of 585 miles per hour, struck the north face of the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:03 a.m. in New York City, United Airlines Flight 175, traveling at a speed of 494 miles per hour, struck the south face of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The scenes are unforgettable. How the planes pierced the concrete and steel, the explosion of the fuel tanks, the black, thick, billowing smoke coming from the building. Immediately, brave people in both towers began helping their co-workers, their colleagues, their friends to escape. Courageously and without hesitation for their own lives, New York City's firefighters, EMTs, and police rushed into the towers to save the very citizens they were sworn to protect and to serve. Who are the heroes of 9/11? They are. In less than 2 hours, America's tallest buildings had had collapsed, taking many of those heroes with them. It felt in some way like America had also collapsed. At 9:37 a.m. in Washington, D.C., American Airlines Flight 77, traveling at 555 miles per hour, struck the western side of the Pentagon. The Pentagon is the world's largest low-rise building. It's 5 concentric buildings, 5-sided, standing 5 stories above the ground. It is made totally of concrete and steel. It is a fortress. The plane had such an impact that it flew entirely through the outer building, the E-ring, entirely through the next building, the D-ring, before finally coming to rest in the middle building, the C-ring. It was a beautiful fall day. It was a cool breeze blowing. The temperature was great for that time of year in Washington, D.C. It was so nice that we had the windows open on our 5th floor offices. At the Pentagon, you can't open the windows anymore. I was in the middle building, the C-ring, on the eastern side of the Pentagon, about 1,000 feet from the impact. I served as chief of the Air Force press desk, and I led 20 officers who worked on a daily basis directly with reporters from our nation's national newspapers, wire services, and news networks. As I stood in front of a bank of televisions, watching the events in New York City, I suddenly heard a very loud, deafening, screeching noise. Imagine 1,000 sets of fingernails screeching a chalkboard all at the same time. I didn't realize it at the time, but what I was hearing was the screeching of 2 flying commercial jet engines. But suddenly, the screeching stopped, and it was replaced by a pounding thud as Flight 77 struck the Pentagon. Immediately after the thud, there was an overpowering boom, and the entire building shook from the shock wave of the explosion and crash. That shock wave caused a tremendous amount of debris to enter our offices through the open windows. Rocks, stones, glass, ceiling tiles falling, sheetrock. I turned around and I looked out of those windows and I saw a huge fireball, much higher than our 5th floor building, rising above the buildings in front of me. We managed to evacuate safely, but our Pentagon medical team, firefighters, and Pentagon police went to work. Just 2 weeks earlier, they had trained for how they would respond to a passenger plane crashing into the Pentagon. The Pentagon was right in the flight pattern of Reagan National Airport. They stormed into the burning Pentagon. And although many were lost that day, because of their efforts, many, many more were saved. Who are the heroes of 9/11? They are. At 10:03 a.m. in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, United Airlines Flight 93, traveling at more than 560 miles an hour, crashed into an empty field. Todd Beamer, with a cry of "Let's roll," led several of his fellow passengers as they fought their way into the cockpit and prevented the terrorists from flying the plane to their intended destination, the nation's capital. Who are the heroes of 9/11? They are. At about this time, 24 years ago, President Bush addressed the nation. His uplifting, consoling, determined words were short but resolute. He said, "A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shattered steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve." Back in Washington, D.C., at 6 a.m. the next day, September 12th, I returned to the Pentagon. The building was still on fire. The smell of burning aviation fuel, the burning jet and building materials filled my nostrils. It is a smell that stayed with me for many years afterward. But it was clear what our next steps were. The fight was on, and we answered back. Nearly 2 million of my brothers and sisters and myself fought in what became known as the War on Terror. The battlefields were Iraq and Afghanistan. I deployed to Iraq twice. In that war, 28 received the Medal of Honor, our nation's highest award for valor in combat. Sal Junta, the first living recipient, Medal of Honor recipient from the War on Terror, today lives in North Texas. 5 of those Medal of Honor stories are on full display in the National Medal of Honor Museum, just 3 miles from here. We lost 7,000 of our fighting men and women in the War on Terror, another 55,000 wounded. So what did we accomplish? First, we killed the terrorists that planned and funded the 9/11 attacks. I refuse to say his name. Secondly, the power of our example, we gave in 2 different countries a glimpse of freedom, peace, and hope. Thirdly, we have not been attacked since on our borders, and we've thwarted many other attempts to do so. Who are the heroes of 9/11? They are. Finally, I believe this is the most important testament of all. On this very day, the 24th anniversary of our second day that lives in infamy, 3 million people boarded 45,000 different flights across this country to travel to destinations all over the world. I think we won. So what is the significance of all this? From the moment of the attacks, our country changed. We changed. We were no longer a country divided by red and blue states. We became a nation of red, white, and blue. It should always be that way. Historically, when others dared to attack our borders, they viewed America as divided, uncertain, weak. However, they've all failed to understand one important lesson from history. When you attack the United States of America, all Americans respond. Why? Why? You see, we are not subjects who bow down to an emperor. We are not mind-controlled minions who pledge loyalty to a dictator. We are definitely not misguided followers of a pseudo-religious maniacal zealot. No, no, no. We are citizens of the greatest country in the history of countries. We pledge allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America that proclaims that we possess, that all Americans possess, the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When you knock on our door, all Americans answer because we don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us. Who are the heroes of 9/11? You are. If anyone out there sees America as divided, uncertain, or weak, and thinks they can come knocking at our door now, especially in North Texas, I give you the words of that great American poet and philosopher, Mr. Toby Keith. Oh, and justice will be served, and the battle will rage. This big dog will fight when you rattle his cage. I know you know the words, say them with me. And you'll be sorry that you messed with the US of A, because we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. God bless you. May God bless our great country. Enjoy the show. Thank you. Thank you.